Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Marquette Golden Eagles Dynasty here on NCAA Football 14. Today we're taking on the Eastern Michigan Eagles in our home opener in this Year 6 season. We come off a victory back last episode in Week 1 against Arizona, winning that one 27-24, although I think we played a little bit better than what the score indicated. A special game here today as we're set to face Lawrence Jackson, who spent his first 3 years in college as the backup to Greg Walker. Walker and Jackson each came in the same recruiting class back in year 2 and would eventually battle for the starting quarterback job until Walker won it in week 3, I believe, in that year 3 season, as redshirt senior Ruben Brown started the year as the starter but just didn't really hold up, and then Walker took over and hasn't looked back. He started every game since the majority of this series, as Eastern Michigan does win the toss, and they're going to put the ball in the hands of Greg Walker to start this game. As we're now underway from the BMO Bradley Center, Marquette looking for a 2-0 start. Dusty Alexander on the kick return. Going to take that up the right sideline as he's forced out there at about the 27. Greg Walker, a good game here to start the season. 19 for 22, very efficient for 197, a touchdown, although he did throw an interception. Marquette starting at the 28 here from the right hash. McBride and Alexander each in the backfield, as McBride will start the day. A good spin move there to get up the middle, and he gets 7 yards. McBride led our rushing attack last week with 73 yards on 17 carries, 2 touchdowns as well. And now Josh Terry a give there from the fullback spot. He gets 3, now 3rd and inches. In the I formation, 2 tight ends on the field. McBride another carry, and a good one as he gets 5 this time and a first down. Charlie Weis, the head coach here for Eastern Michigan, his 5th season, so I want to say he was hired back in the year 1 off season. First drop back here from Greg Walker, gets that for Terry, and Terry, a strong finish there, getting 15. Terry led our team in receiving last week. I want to say around 70 receiving yards on maybe 5 catches. Alexander now his first carry, and he'll take that up the middle, a good run for 6. I'm excited to see Lawrence Jackson here today with Eastern Michigan. As I said, was the backup for Greg Walker here throughout this series. I was going to say franchise. We're not playing MLB The Show. And I'm glad, we found a spot for him now in a starting role. And we tried to have B there, dropped back too much there in the pocket. And a good sack there from Nate Bracken. Working there, a good spin move against new left guard Marquise Cole. And we do have a couple holes on this line. 3rd and 13 now, backed up to the 46-yard line. Walker out there empty here, as he does take the snap. We have Coleman there, and a good play on the ball there from number 31, crashing down, getting a hand in for the incompletion. We were a second late getting Coleman there, and the corner, good reaction. So Eastern Michigan stalls this opening Marquette drive as Castillo on for the punt, the kicker turned punter, after we brought in Hunter Kraft, the number 1 kicker in the nation, a freshman for us this year. Going to try and get a feel here for it with Castillo, as that one not good. Off the side of the foot, we'll say. That punt only going down to the 26, so what was that, like a 20-yard punt there from Castillo? Maybe a learning curve, we'll say, trying to, figure out a new position. Lawrence Jackson now drop back, his first. He's going to take off, and he's brought down there by Troy Walker, a 3-yard gain. A very weak, inexperienced receiving core here for Eastern Michigan. I think only 35 combined catches between all the receivers on this team. And Jackson, they were trying to set up a screen there, just threw it away. I guess pressure was breaking down. I didn't really have my eyes on Jackson there, so I couldn't really tell if anyone was about to get home or not. Now, a 3rd and 7, would love to force a 3 and out here. Jackson back to pass. He'll swing that for Hardy, the tight end, and that's not going to really get anything. In fact, it gets 2 or 3 negative yards, and now 4th down. Nothing doing there for the Eastern Michigan offense, as Lawrence Jackson suffers a 3 and out on his first series as a starter. And now Robert Williamson on for the punt return, going to take that from the 36. Good hesitancy, as he'll bring that down all the way to the 40. So after the punt from Marquette, the 3 and out, and then a punt return, we pretty much end up right where we were to end last drive. And I'll go back to Alexander, and he finds a hole there, gets 7. We're now in week 3 after having a bye week in week 2, so after this game we'll advance to week 4 and get a recruiting update. Now 2nd and 3. Walker takes the snap. Dump that off for Terry. And he's going to drag a man inside the 20. And he finishes those catches super strong. Another 16. I saw number 1 Oklahoma lost 50-39 against LSU. And the Sooners entered at number 2 this year. We're going to see them in a few weeks. Was hoping they'd still be among the top teams. And Walker on the read option. A lot of success on that play last week. And he gets 9. Number 2 South Carolina defeats Georgia. So the Gamecocks will probably go back to number 1 where they spent a lot of time last season. Ultimately lost in the national championship to Army. And now McBride a carry as he gets 2 and a first down. And Army actually lost back in week 1, so I think they're already unranked. They didn't come in as a top team, though. I think they entered the season in the teens or the 20s or so. And now 1st and goal from the 7. Walker takes the snap. And we try to get Washington there, and luckily the interception is dropped, and we live to see another down. I was hoping the JUCO transfer there, Washington, would use his big frame at 6'5", 227 and try and battle for that ball, but the DB worked a little bit harder. Now McBride carries, he gets 4 up the middle down to the 3. 3rd and goal now. And we'll go with Josh Terry, give up the middle, and he's stopped there in the lane. And now 4th and goal from the 1. Or I'm sorry, the 2, and I think we'll just go for it. Based on this Eastern Michigan offense, I wouldn't mind if we do fail here, just having them start from our own 2-yard or their own 2-yard line. As Alexander just barely gets that ball across, I thought he might get stopped short there, but the second effort gets him into the end zone as Marquette takes the lead. Alexander's first touchdown of the season. The senior enters this year as our all-time leading rusher. Also, starting corner Aaron Clark injured in this game, so Mike Carroll, the redshirt junior, going to take over as the number 2 corner in this one. Bobby Price, a good stick over the middle. That's Vincent Kendrick on the 7-yard catch. With that, I also think we'll see a lot more of Andrew Thomas here, our freshman corner, who we kind of have in a safety role as well. Jackson going to take off again. Thomas misses the tackle, and Carter comes out of frame to hit Jackson, take him down. Jackson a 14-yard scramble. 1st and 10 now, the Eagles at the 46. Jackson a fake. And he's going to just fire that one out of bounds. A weird one there. 1:01 remaining here in the first. 2nd and 10. Jackson a quick one there for Young. Henry misses a tackle, and Young breaks free. Past the 10 now. And he's going into the end zone. Ty Young a 54-yard catch and run. Mark Henry missed the tackle, and that proved to be detrimental as that broke him open. Lawrence Jackson, his first touchdown pass with the Eastern Michigan Eagles as they square this one up. Explosive play there from Eastern Michigan. Now Marquette takes over at the 25 in this 7-7 affair. Walker to pass. Has Coleman there over the middle, breaks the tackle, and then brought down, gets 12 yards and a first. 1st and 10 now. Walker out there empty as he takes the snap. Over the middle there for Pope, and he makes the grab 16 yards across midfield. Less than 10 seconds now. Marquette doesn't have to call a play if they don't want to, but they will, and they'll give it to Alexander. And he gets 4 yards. That's going to end it here in the first quarter. 7-7, Marquette driving here to end the quarter. A good sack early on there from Eastern Michigan forced a stall drive from Marquette. Alexander was able to convert there on 4th down, and a big play from Eastern Michigan to get it back tied, but an inferior opponent here today. Still going to attack it like it's every other game, but still a game we hope that we can kind of pour it on and impose our will against one of the lowest rated teams in the nation this season. Now 2nd and 6 as we start the second. Walker to pass. Go out there to Coleman. We were hoping he could break a tackle, but brought down. Now 3rd and 2. Marquette back in the I formation. Alexander on the field. Breaks the tackle there in the backfield and gets ahead for the first down. A good second effort to get the job done. First down out to 37. Walker takes the snap. Gonna roll to the left, being chased. Trying to work up the sideline. He's ripped out there at the 1-yard line. Nothing open downfield. Good coverage from EMU. 2nd and 9 now. Walker from the shotgun takes the snap. Go for Washington over there, and he's brought down a hard hit. Only gets 4 now, 3rd and 5. Here we go. Z-spot out of Ace Bunch. Walker takes the snap. And we have Terry A good ball there from Walker, squeezing it in there. 14-yard catch for Terry. First down, Marquette. Golden Eagles now back in the red zone. They'll give to Alexander to the outside. Good spin move there. Gets him free, and he gets 9. 2nd and 1 now from the 9. They bring pressure, and it's batted at the line. We had Mason, and a good play there from Hodge, forcing the incompletion. Now 3rd and 1. McBride checks into the game here. It's been really the Alexander show today so far, but McBride gets the job done there in short yardage, 3 yards and another first. Marquette now at the 7 on this 1st and goal. They'll give back to Alexander, and a 4-yard carry up the middle, getting close. And now we see the redshirt junior Craig Jones check into the game at tailback for the first time. Watkins in motion. We go back to Craig Jones here as he gets into the end zone. Worked it all the way to the outside, pressed it as far as he could, and finds pay dirt for his first touchdown of the year. Marquette takes the lead. Eastern Michigan back out there following their big play last time. I think it was 58 yards to the house. Opening give here for Vaughn. Works to the outside, and Omar Wilson there for the stop, 9 yards on Kevin Vaughn's first carry. Also, I don't know if I mentioned it already, but I saw Arkansas was upset by an FCS team, so a big loss there for an SEC squad. Now Jackson to give back to Young, and that time we're able to bottle him up. A bunch of Marquette defenders there, bring him down for a 2-yard loss. That was Antonio Carr, the All-American, the highest-rated defensive player on this team in his senior year now. And now a 3rd and short for Eastern Michigan. And they'll go back to the running game. There's Vaughn, and he gets the first down. A good lane opened up, and Bobby Price on the stop. 1st and 10 now from the 40. And they go back to Vaughn, and he's brought down there in the backfield by Chris Carter. 2nd and 10. 3:30 remaining here in the half. Kendrick in motion. Jackson takes the snap, going to go for a screen. And Carter and Witherspoon there to combine for the tackle. A big 4-yard loss, now 3rd and long. 3rd and 13 now. Jackson to pass. Going to swing that for Young. Has some space, and he fights for the first down, still going, and finally ripped down by Mark Henry as they convert on the 3rd and 13 dump off. Another 22 for Young. Big hit there for the Eagles, and Albert Young proving to be a difference maker. Now Jackson to pass, a quick one there for Paul, and Carter there to stack him up, bring him down after an 8-yard gain. Now 2nd and 2 as this half winds down. We go for Vaughn this time, and a good read there by Omar Wilson, sifting through the lanes and bringing him down after just a 3-yard carry. First down now, EMU at the 31, and they'll fake it. Jackson, a quick pass, but mistimed that one. 2nd down. 2:09 now. Jackson takes the snap. Has a man over the middle. That's Paul. And that slips off his hands. A drop over the middle there. 3rd down. 3rd and 10. 2:06 remaining. Jackson takes the snap. And the pocket collapses on him. Runs into a man. And that's Anthony Edwards bringing him down for the sack. The linebacker turned D-end. And look at that. Good bull rush there. Good leverage. And he works his way into the quarterback. 4th and 20 now. And this is a 58-yard field goal attempt here from Frank. Do you think he's honest? Frank here, the Eastern Michigan kicker, actually the highest rated player on the roster. And is that going to be a false start? They're just going to let the clock run down. The play clock, that is. And that's going to hurt, so maybe they're going to have to punt instead. Costly mistake, as that does stop the clock and drives them certainly out of field goal range at this point. Like I said, Frank, the top player on this roster. And Williamson going to let that just go back for a touchback. And Marquette will take over at the 20. Like I said, Frank, the top player on this EMU team. But Lawrence Jackson, the new quarterback, the 2nd-ranked player at 86 overall. I believe Frank is 91. Now 1:32 remaining here in the half. Go for Mason over the middle. That only gets 9. We're going to hurry back now. Still with all our timeouts. Maybe after this play we'll start using some. I think we'll go shotgun empty tray, middle slant. A little short concept here, but maybe Terry underneath might be a good call here. We kind of stood up there, rolling right. I thought a man was closer than he was. We probably could have had a lot more space going outside, but a wasted play there. Kind of panicked. Now 3rd and 1. Certainly want to keep the chains moving here. Walker takes the snap. Quick dump off there for Pope, and the linebacker sat there in a good spot. 1:03 remaining at the 29. On 4th and 1, I mean, is it too crazy to go for it in this spot? I think we'll bring out the offense and at least see how it looks. We'll go ISO weak here for McBride. EMU is stacking the line. I don't know how this looks, but we're just going to go for it here at home. And McBride really struggled there to get going, ran into a tackle, and somehow we still convert. Wow, that was super risky. And I thought we were about to get stopped there. 14-7 game, still all our timeouts, less than a minute remaining in the half. We'll go there for Kenneth Pope. He's brought down short of the first down marker. Gets 9, we'll call a timeout. 2nd and 1 now at the 42. 5 receivers out there for Marquette. We go for Washington there towards the sideline, makes the grab, and forced out a good read, a good ball from Walker. 21 to the JUCO transfer. Walker 10 for 15, 119 yards already here in this first half. Still out there empty with 5 receivers on the field. Dump that off for Bonner. And look at that acceleration after the catch. Our number 5 wide receiver, a true sophomore. Going to try and get him on the field more this season. We'll stay out there in this 5 receiver set. Now Walker takes the snap. Go again towards the sideline, this time for Washington, as he is going to stay in bounds. And we do have to call a timeout. Now 2nd and 1. 27 seconds now. Walker still out there empty, as has been the case on this drive. Going to roll to the right, being chased. And that one we're going to have to get rid of. 3rd and 1 now, as he takes the snap. Go for Terry over the middle. I thought he was going to keep going vertical. Misread that route. And if he didn't cut inside, that would have been 6, but an incompletion. And here we'll just bring out Hunter Kraft for the 34-yard field goal and make this a 2-possession game. That one is good. Still 16 seconds remaining here in the half. Beach will take this out of his own end zone. And a good stop there by Weber. He's a starting linebacker in our 3-4 sets, a sophomore now. I think 85 speed, 95 acceleration at linebacker. Definitely want to get that athleticism onto the field this year. But he's already been a standout special teamer here just through 2 weeks of the season. And now 14 seconds for the Eagles of Eastern Michigan, as they do have a fullback and a tight end on the field. Probably going to go conservative here with a run, as they do. Vaughn brought down there by Troy Walker. And it looks like they will just let it go into halftime. So Marquette up 17-7. Probably could have a few more points on the board, but we'll take the 10-point lead. Eastern Michigan has had a few big hits, especially on that touchdown earlier to Albert Young, as he's really been killing us so far. But the defense has been holding up as you would expect against a team like EMU. Still getting into the rhythm here with Lawrence Jackson as a new starting quarterback, but he's been playing well. Greg Walker, of course, has been playing well. His counterpart now, quarterbacks from the same recruiting class back in year 2, but Walker ultimately ended up being the guy, and he's going to leave this after this season as the most storied passer in Marquette history. But you still hope for the best for Lawrence Jackson, and you hope he can lead EMU to a good season this year. Back-to-back 6-win seasons for Eastern Michigan, which is very good for their program, but maybe Lawrence Jackson can take them to new heights this year. But we are going to kick the ball to start the second half, and hopefully we can get it back and get a quick scoring drive and further our lead. Kraft now on for the kickoff to get us started here in the second. Marquette rocking a 10-point lead. Next week is the War for Wisconsin, as Hodge knees that one. The War for Wisconsin 2. Last year, the Badgers took it from us, and they ended up taking our top recruit option as well, tight end Tyson Williams. And this year, our top option, 5-star athlete John Coleman. And it's going to be the Badgers we're battling with. Currently, we're second on his board. Wisconsin is number 1, so a win against Wisconsin next week is absolutely huge for many reasons. Now Jackson for Hardy out of the backfield. A good tackle there from Derek Perkins, 6 yards to the tight end. Andrew Hardy at 6'1", 270 pounds last year, just short of 1,000 yards, receiving with 9 touchdown catches. Jackson now, that's in the hands of Mike Carroll, I thought. And that's going to go incomplete now, 3rd and 4. 3rd and short here. Would love to force a 3 and out to start the half. Jackson from the shotgun. Kendrick in motion. Jackson takes the snap. They're going to go screen here. And Mike Carroll all over that one. A standout special teamer in his own right. And his first career start here at corner. And a tremendous read there, crashing down and making the big tackle for loss, forcing the fourth. Marquette starts at the 30 now from the right hash. Coming out in the flex bone to start this drive. No speed option. And we do get the pitch off for Alexander. Keeps his footing but goes backwards. And all of that for -1. Definitely want to run a little more pistol and flex bone this year. That play developed nicely, but just obviously ended up netting us a loss. Now 2nd and 11. Walker out there empty. Good route there from Anderson on the in and out. And Anderson gets ahead for the first down. With Dylan Anderson, Kenneth Pope, and Tommy Washington, we now have a lot of size in the receiving core with 3 guys at 6'3" or taller. And I'll start this set of downs. A give for McBride. Kind of hobbled there in the lane. Only gets 1. 2nd and 9 now. Walker on the drop back. Going to roll to the right. That's Kenneth Pope, I believe. And he hauls that in for 16 yards. Walker doing a good job of distributing the ball, kind of like a point guard, getting everyone involved here. Now 1st and 10. We'll give it to Alexander. A good hole opens up. Good burst up the lane there. First down. The Golden Eagles now at the 31. Go back to the read option there. And a D-Hen sits home and makes a good play there. Good discipline there by Nate Bracken. Had that sack earlier. And this time a good play on the edge. Tackle for loss. Now 2nd and 12. Walker again out there empty. A lot of empty sets here today. As he takes the snap. Dumped that off for Pope. I thought that corner was going to veer over. Shouldn't have attacked it. Should have let Pope sit back. But we'll take 2, I guess. 3rd and 10 now from the 31. Marquette 4 out of 8 so far on 4th down. 3rd and 10 this time. Coleman was the man in motion. Going to go over for Bonner. And a face mask is going to keep this drive alive. I was hoping he could maybe slip away from that man. But he does make the grab and forces the face mask. A first down and a very costly penalty there from Myron Harvey. First down out to 14. Alexander and McBride in the backfield go play action. Swing that out for McBride. Slips away from an arm tackle there. Only 2 yards though. 2nd and 8 as we're more than halfway through this 3rd quarter. Marquette now at the 12. And they'll give to Alexander as he gets 5 up the middle. 3rd and short. 3rd and 3 will come out in the Jumbo Z with 3 tight ends on the field. Walker takes a snap. It is going to be a pass over the middle for Watkins. And I was hoping he could maybe get the ball across. But we'll take 7 and the first down now. 1st and goal at the 1. 17 first downs in this game to just 4 for Eastern Michigan. 1st and goal here. We'll give to McBride as he finds his way in the end zone. So now all 3 backs, McBride, Alexander, and Jones, each with a rushing touchdown. And we are going to try and evenly distribute the scores here this season. Marquette takes a 24-7 lead. Eastern Michigan takes over at the 25 now, down 17. A 3-possession game here. On the option, Jackson does get the pitch off for Vaughn. Williamson misses there in space. Omar Wilson can't bring him down. And a good run there from Kevin Vaughn. 31 yards past midfield. Option run to perfection there from Jackson. And in one-on-one situations in space, we've really struggled tackling here today. The Eagles' offense really displaying the ability to hit for big gains, although they just need a little more stability. Jackson now, nothing open there as he's taken down there in the pocket. There we go. Jake Witherspoon, the D tackle, good swim move there against the guard. He and Anthony Edwards got home. Edwards showing some good pass rush here today in one of his first games at D end. When Jackson realized that the pocket was collapsing, it was a little too late. Witherspoon there for the sack. Is that going to be a false start as well? And I think it is. Bringing back 5 more. 2nd and 24 now. Jackson back to pass. That's almost picked off by Derek Perkins. The sophomore corner. He just dropped his first career interception. Now 3rd and very, very long for the Eagles. Jackson in the shotgun with Vaughn to his right. Jackson to pass. And that one is just going to be way off the mark. Not sure if he was just throwing that one away, but 4th and 24 nonetheless. And again, EMU going to have to punt. 2:01 remaining here in the 3rd. Marquette looking to pour it on. Walker takes the snap. Rolls to the right. Nothing open. Going to get Pope there on the extended route. And he gets 11, another first down. I think his fifth catch of the day for 54 yards. Marquette now at the 30. And they go for McBride to the outside. Good spin move there, working upfield. And a strong, swift run there from McBride, 17 yards towards the 50. From the I formation now, less than a minute and a half remaining here in the third. They'll go back to McBride. And he's brought down that time. They keep him honest. No gain. 1 minute now left in the third. 2nd and 10. Walker takes the snap. Go towards the sideline there for Coleman. And Kevin Coleman, the senior, 10 yards to the 40. Walker now over 200 passing yards. 20 out of 27. 1st and 10 now at the 41. Walker takes the snap. There's Tommy Washington, a good route that time. Strong stiff arm, get off me. 17 yards to the 23. Less than 30 seconds now, we'll motion Mason over. As we do give to Alexander. Another face mask there, and clearly EMU, the least disciplined team here, as that's what their 3rd or 4th face mask, plus a couple false starts. And again, that's Myron Harvey, and that'll give us a 1st and goal inside the 10. Time for one more play here in the 3rd quarter. 1st and goal. Got a little play action boot over here. Hopefully get Terry there in the end zone for the touchdown to end this 3rd quarter. And we are going to get him there as Terry hauls that in for the touchdown. And his tremendous game continues. Walker gets a passing touchdown in this one as we're at zeros on the game clock here to end the 3rd quarter. Play action works to perfection. As you see the linebacker there sold on the blitz, which opened up Terry over the middle. And Terry, his dynamic play now, we get him at fullback more. And I'm really excited for what his season is going to present. Maybe an All-American candidate if we keep the production consistent. Kraft puts that extra point through. Now 31-7 Marquette as we strike for 2 touchdowns here in the 3rd quarter. We extend our lead and we'll look to finish strong going into the 4th. EMU now takes over at the 25 to start this 4th quarter of play, down 24. Maybe just want to get some positive plays here. Get the spirits up a little bit. And that won't do it as Omar Wilson, another sophomore there. We saw Derek Perkins drop his potential 1st career interception, I think on the last drive. And there's Omar Wilson doing his best rendition of the same feat. So still no interceptions on the year. We actually haven't even forced a turnover yet. 2nd and 10. There he'll go for Kendrick, and Williamson a good tackle there. Only 6 yards now, 3rd and 4. And I mentioned earlier how we're going to have a recruiting update after this episode. And we have, I think, 1 or 2 5-stars on this year's board, a bunch of 4-stars, and a lot of high-caliber guys. Yates, a strong run, still going as he busts his way up for 14. I think that's the fullback. And this recruiting cycle is certainly not going to be easy. I think for most of our top guys, we're already trailing. And I think we're trailing Wisconsin for a couple of those. That's Bobby Price. We get the lurk interception. Let's go. Bobby Price, the interception, the All-American from last season. And we finally generate a turnover here. Jackson now just 9 of 18, a touchdown and interception. Not the best start from him in his return to Milwaukee. And now we go with the screen here for Coleman. Washington, a good job picking up a block there, and Coleman gets outside for 15 on the screen. Now 7 minutes left here in this game. Eastern Michigan probably just wants to get out of it at this point. And we have Jack Mason there, not really sure what we were doing. Our rollout there kind of stalled. We just kind of threw that one up, and luckily junior tight end Jack Mason there showing good awareness, getting back for that one. Already 31-7, Marquette back on the doorstep here. 1st and goal from the 3-yard line. Here, Walker will keep on the inverted veer and only gets a yard, hit hard. 2nd and goal now. We come out in the goal line set, and Michael James checks into the game. Who remembers him? And he's not going to do anything there on his 1st carry of the year, -1. 3rd and goal now, and Jason Smith, the redshirt freshman quarterback, checks in, leading this Wildcat formation. McBride in motion. They'll fake it. Smith there for Mason, and he just missed him. Jason Smith, a dynamic option there at quarterback, an athlete who probably projects better as a receiver, but we're going to use him at quarterback and to take over next year in the starting role once Greg Walker moves on, and that time just inches away from firing his first touchdown pass. Last week we had him in for a carry here at the goal line, and he ended up just really an inch short of his first touchdown as well on that one. So we kind of like what we see there in the Wildcat. Going to try and mix that in this season. Now Walker out there. Quick one for Mason, and we're intercepted. Going for a quick one. That's what we deserve. Bracken there had the sack, a tackle for loss earlier, and now secures the interception. And like I said, that's exactly what we deserve. Jeez, of all players to pick us off, it's the DN there, the big boy. A big play there, a good swing for Eastern Michigan. And now they have Hardy over the middle. We lost track of that one. Manning Wilson in man, and Hardy gets ahead for the first down. Jeez, it's plays like that that kind of damper the good vibes in a game like this. Still up big, but you don't want to turn it over there, especially through an interception. Trying to keep that down. Now Jackson being chased. Edwards going to bring him down for the sack, his second of the game. And we might really have something here in the linebacker turn D end. Of course, you could say Jackson may be a little rattled at this point, but really nothing left to lose. Down 24 points. Going to pass here again. Has a man over the middle. That's Kendrick, and Chris Carter stopping him there. 3rd and 7. Jackson directly under center here on 3rd down from the 34. Hardy in motion. Jackson the pass. Going to run actually as Bobby Price able to knock him down only 1 yard. 4th and 6, and I would think they go for it here, but we will see. And they will. They're going to bring out 4 receivers. We'll counter with dime and just go cover 2. Trying to get the ball back as we're halfway through this 4th quarter of play. Jackson to pass. He's going to check that down for Davis, and Bobby Price there to make the stop, but a step late as Will Davis picks up the first. First down now, EMU at the 41. Jackson takes the snap. He's going to be sacked. We bring pressure, and it works out that time. And that's Chris Carter, his first sack of the season. Perfect time to dial up the blitz. Jackson a little shell-shocked now. Yates and Vaughn in the backfield. 2nd and 17. Jackson to pass. And that one is going to throw it away. And now 3rd and very long. 3rd and 17, 3:20 remaining, and go for the screen here. It doesn't develop as Vaughn really struggled to get going, and Jake Witherspoon home for his 2nd sack of the day. And it's now 4th and 29 from the 22, and EMU will punt this time. Good defensive stand there. Our defense has been dominant pretty much all game, despite a few big gains given up. And we will give Williamson a return here from the 35. Good block there from Henry, and only 7 from Williamson to the 44. McBride in the game now to start this drive at running back. Going to work it to the outside, and he'll pick up 8. Marquette's starting to chew clock, but would love to find the end zone one more time here today, especially after we missed out on that bonehead interception. Now Alexander 6 yards up the middle. And now McBride checks back into the game, really giving these backs equal run here today. Going to be the case here this season in our two-headed attack, plus Craig Jones. McBride this time up the middle for 3. 2nd and 7. So who you got your money on leading the team in rushing this year? Is it going to be McBride or Alexander? EMU not even calling timeouts, just trying to get out of this one. As Craig Jones checks into the game. Always good for a late hit in games. I'll work this one to the outside. Blocking develops there. Craig Watson getting out there. And Jones just couldn't turn upfield there as he was dragged down. A good play there. And was that Bracken again for EMU? Now 3rd and 3. There you go, play action here. We'll swing that out for Craig Watkins. And he does not get the first down. So I think we'll call a timeout here with like 2 seconds and then just take a knee and get that extra XP for Lance Leipold. Unless we could actually just get back to the line without calling a timeout. And we're not going to get it off. So we do have to call a timeout in order to get that 10 XP. And, you know, every little bit helps here, especially we're trying to get that kitchen sink ability in our recruiting. So certainly worth it to take the timeout and just take a knee here. As Marquette is going to win 31-7. You love to see that. Going to start 2-0. And we have big aspirations this season. And with that, we're now victorious for the second. It doesn't even run a second off the clock. Did we even get XP there? It called it a turnover. I mean, it was 4th down, but still. How does a second not run off the clock there? Oh my goodness. So EMU will get a play here And like last week, we did give up a big one. This one only a few yards, as now we're official as Marquette is victorious. What was that? A good game overall, despite that interception, which is going to haunt me. We executed very well otherwise, as we did last week, although last week a lot more missed opportunities, I would say. Walker, the player of the game, 266 passing, a touchdown and interception. And good start here. Next week we have the War for Wisconsin, which is obviously a big game, one of the bigger games on our schedule all season. This one of the easier games on the schedule, but it was good to see Lawrence Jackson, even though he didn't play really that great throughout. Started off pretty well, but just couldn't hold on. But good to see him back in Milwaukee, and hopefully he has a successful season with the Eagles this season. But that's going to do it here in Milwaukee, and I'll see you back at Marquette recruiting headquarters for some big developments there. All right, now we're at the recruiting board for our first in-season update, and here we see John Coleman, a 79 overall athlete at 6'4", 234, a 5-star from Appleton, Wisconsin. As you can see, we trail the Badgers right now, which has huge implications in next week's game, as we're going to take on the Badgers, and a win there, could maybe sway Coleman. Scouting, 89 speed, B acceleration with 85 agility, so just an unreal athlete at that size. Has some defensive traits, but we like him at receiver, hopefully tight end, with that 86 route running, a B release, 76 spec catch, and C catching and catching traffic. We're dropping by 75 each week at this point. The Badgers and Michigan State also offered him, but it looks like the Spartans getting locked out, and we can't visit him quite yet. Looks like we're just barely missing there on his visit, so we're going to have to hold off on him. But John Coleman, our top option in this year's recruiting class, and really hope we could bring him into Milwaukee, although it looks like he's leaning towards Madison. And now Adrian Holmes, 2 group of 5 teams over us there in Central Michigan, Miami of Ohio, both of those teams out of the MAC. Holmes just a 3-star at 6'4", 280 from Waterford, Michigan, but after scouting, really liked his acceleration at 97, 84 strength, 77 run block with C speed, pass block, and impact block. So I think he's a blue chip offensive tackle prospect, even though he only has 70 overall right now, but I think he's going to go up a few points, and really hope we can bring him in as our top offensive line target this cycle. Jake Allen, 6'2", 257 4-star out of Shelby, Michigan, and number 4 outside linebacker in the country, with Ball State and Kansas State our main competition right now. Going over to scouting, B speed, 77 strength with B power move, 69 finesse, only 64 block shed with C man and zone. We are leading for him, but Ball State and Kansas State really not dropping by much, and we already have offered him a scholarship. So he is ready for a visit. And what was his lock percentage at? We are leading for him, 53% locked. I don't know if it would benefit us more to bring him in here against Wisconsin. I think we will, just so we can maybe pull away from the other schools a little bit. And we'll be the first team to schedule him. And he'll be in next episode against the Badgers, who are going to be number 25 in the nation. That now brings us to LaRue Hart, one of the top quarterbacks in the nation, 16th overall, 3-star out of Roseville, Minnesota. And he really is leaning towards staying in state with the Golden Gophers. We're dropping 155 each week. They visit with him in week 9. And as we saw last year, I think it might be more beneficial to visit these type of players later, ones that we're trailing for. But at already 73 lock percentage, I don't think we want to hold off too much. So I think we'll try and get him in for one of these games, Purdue, Iowa State. But I think we'll just let it go one more week and see what opens up there. But LaRue Hart, he looks like a tremendous scrambling quarterback with that B speed, 91 agility, 86 acceleration with 86 throw power, B accuracy, 86 spin with B elusive and juke. So he would be a stud quarterback, but what's hurting us in bonus points right now? The pro potential is really hurting us there at a D+. John Richardson now out of California, I believe. Yeah, one of maybe 2 or 3 out of region prospects we have on the board. He already had interest in the preseason, so we added him, a 4-star out of Martinez, California. And like Jake Allen here, Kansas State also in on Richardson, although they do lead us for this prospect. Looks like someone who could maybe play a little D end if we miss out on our primary target down the board a little bit. 77 finesse, you like that. Only 59 agility though. You would prefer that on the line with C speed, 83 acceleration, C block shed, and power move. So I think he might be someone that we put at D end just because we really don't have any options there. We have one D end on the board, that being Al Bush here, and we're dropping 105 against Northern Illinois. Although we haven't offered him yet, so maybe we'll offer Al Bush here. 6'4", 275 out of Galesburg, Illinois. We just offered him a scholarship. He did drop one after scouting, but you like the block shed and power move there in the low to mid 70s. So like I said, very scarce D-end option. So I'm hoping we could get Allen and Richardson and maybe put Richardson at D-end, even though he's a little lighter. You prefer Allen's size there, probably on the line, but he's better in coverage, so you don't want to squander that by putting him at D-end. So Richardson, I think we can visit him. Maybe we'll bring him in as well here against Wisconsin. So we are dropping quite a bit against Kansas State. I don't know if I think we'll hold off on him and Hart and maybe get them in later on. Terry O'Donnell, we're dropping 75 against NIU. O'Donnell, another 4-star recruit, the third-ranked free safety in the nation, trying to looking to stay in state there in Illinois. Northwestern not really in on him. We're dropping by 75, as I said, so not dropping too much. We're going to still remain in the fight for O'Donnell, of course. And Tim Smith, the top receiver that we have on the board out of Manitowoc, Wisconsin, same town there as Tyson Williams, who we missed out on last year to Wisconsin. And the Badgers second for him. They have offered him, but they are dropping $445 each week. And Tim Smith not quite ready for a visit, so we'll stand pat with the max 500 for him. Another offensive prospect here, another 4-star in Josh Madsen, another guy on our board out of Appleton, Wisconsin, the 11th ranked running back in the nation. Wisconsin slipping for him as well, dropping 335. So I think Madsen is a guy we're going to be able to bring in, and he's not ready for a visit yet. So we still have 50 points remaining. Prior to recording, I kind of messed around and allocated points, was left with 100. We just offered a scholarship. Now down here to Brian Beck. Should we just go ahead and offer him as well? Or should we offer, we already offered Curry and we offered Andrews. So I think we'll offer Beck, our top corner target this cycle, and TCU dropping by quite a bit. They're less than more than 1,000 away from we are. So I think we'll continue to cruise away with Brian Beck. Stephen Curry, not to be confused with Steph Curry, is here. He's the number one. We're number one on his board and pulling away. Thomas Andrews. We needed to bring in an Iowa recruit, and we're pulling away from the Hawkeyes and the Cyclones. Al Bush, we talked about him, just offered him the only D-end on our board. Jamil Smith, we're second on his board, only a 2-star, but look at his scouting. He went up +9 after scouting him halfway. Another guy trying to stay there in Illinois with NIU. And we actually can visit him. Wisconsin, they bring him in down there in week 14. I think we do want to go ahead of NIU here, so we'll bring him in for Purdue. So Jamil Smith scheduled. Now Brent Stokes, an athlete, probably best at corner or safety, maybe receiver. We're pulling away a little bit for him. Only 63 overall. We're gonna stick with the 250, and we also have that 270 bonus. Now our backup plan here at quarterback, Marco Lynch, the 50th ranked quarterback in the nation. We're only pouring 200 into him. Still haven't offered him. Going to see how it plays out with LaRue Hart first, but Michigan State dropping a little bit. We're going to probably pour more points into him as we go on here. And then Greg Morris, a backup plan here on the offensive line if we miss out on Smith and or our top guy up here in Adrian Holmes. So as we go along here, we're probably going to have to start pouring more points into Morris, as it looks like we might miss out on Smith and Holmes, maybe even both of them, but hopefully not. Then just going down the board with a few reserve guys here as backup plans, but McGill, Summers, Stanley, all, kind of favoring different schools, along with Jeff Dixon here. Probably all these guys are going to commit here in the next few weeks. Speaking of weeks, we have Kenny Weeks here, a backup plan at linebacker out of Winnipeg, Canada. Matt Harvey, a JUCO linebacker. 73 overall, you like that? You like the zone? But we're not going to really target JUCO guys yet at this point. And that's going to do it here for our recruiting update. And now here's our first look at the top 25 here during year 6. South Carolina back at number 1. They spent a lot of time up there last year en route to a national championship appearance, although they fell against Army, looking to get back and prove themselves this year. USC at number 2. Michigan, Clemson, Georgia Tech, all 2-0 there in the top 5. Notre Dame, the top one-loss team in the nation. I think they lost to Clemson. They lost to Clemson in week 1, 38-37. I think that might have been the bring your own guts game. I could be wrong on that, though. I don't know if anyone remembers that Dabo Swinney post-game interview. North Carolina 2-0. They beat Ohio State. So the Buckeyes really falling off after, sporting a dynasty throughout the first 4 years of this dynasty. Northwestern in the top 10, Miami, and then Oklahoma 0-1 as they were the number 1 team. Lost 34-50 to LSU. Florida State 2-0. Missouri 1-1. They lose to the Gators, previously number 5. We'll see them later in the season. Texas A&M 1-1. Ohio State 0-1. They lose their opener to the Tar Heels by 1 point, 34-33. Boise State 2-0 in the top 15. Oregon, we'll see them later on. Michigan State 1-0. Virginia Tech also 1-0. Florida, Ole Miss at 2-1. They come off a loss against number 5 Georgia Tech. Navy now in week 4. Navy has still not, taken the field. Wonder what's going on there. So we're 2-0 and Navy 0-0. Still, we're ranked. We're not ranked. We're ranked below them. Nebraska 0-2. We're still ranked below them. LSU a big win against Oklahoma. Alabama at 2-1, and then Wisconsin, who we're going to see next week at 2-1, to come off a win against Maryland. Lost in week 2 against BYU, but opened the season on the road with a win against UW. Their middle linebacker will be hurt next week. At quarterback, Michael Smith leading the team in passing, and he was a quarterback we pursued back in year 3, but he ultimately went to Wisconsin. But I thought they had a different starting quarterback, so maybe he was hurt in the last game, that being Ray Kearney. Darryl Mosley, one of the top running backs in the nation, through 3 games over 300 yards, 6.4 yards per clip, 3 touchdowns. Lewis, their leading receiver, 2 touchdowns, and Freeman there leading the team in sacks with 2. A very good DN. So Wisconsin, we're going to have our hands full with them next week. We're the first team out, receiving 167 votes. So with a win, obviously, we'll jump into the polls. So we have a number 25 against number 26 matchup this week. Mississippi State, Iowa, Auburn, Purdue, TCU, and San Diego State also receiving votes. In the Heisman Watch, Kevin Lumpkin, the preseason favorite, still leading the way here for the number 5 Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets after a big win against Missouri. Sylvester Knox opened the year at number 2, still sporting that spot for Michigan. As their running back also here at number 4, Tyler Rivero, 222 yards and 5 total touchdowns last week against FCS Northwest. Robert Brown, the successor here to Mitch Trubisky for the Tar Heels, number 3 in the Heisman Watch. And then Anthony Skinner, a true junior quarterback there for Notre Dame at number 5. And with that, folks, this is where I'm going to leave you. Thank you so much for watching. We got a nice win here against Eastern Michigan. It was fun to see Lawrence Jackson, opposing us on the other side. Had a good touchdown early on, but just kind of went cold after that. But 2-0, our Marquette Golden Eagles face a very tough test next week in the war for Wisconsin, but at least we're home this year for it, and we look to avenge last year's defeat at Camp Randall Stadium. So, as always, everybody, it's been real, and be well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.